Donald Trump really wants to defend himself when it comes to impeachment, but the different ways he could do that, including testifying or even just getting involved on social media, even his close allies don't necessarily think that's a great idea. Here's Brian Kilmeade.
I just think overall, president should just ignore this whole thing. Don't tweet during it. Don't get outraged over it. It ticks you off.
Right.
And I think that there's so much for him to do. I just think that let these guys like Doug Collins and company fight out and keep it on the straight and narrow from the Republican perspective.
So he's sort of pitching it as, don't get involved because you're just gonna get mad and you've got stuff to do. When what he really means is, 4 days ago, when you tweeted during the Yovanovitch testimony, it was a disaster for you and very likely added a potential impeachable charge there on its own. And so Brian Kilmeade, Ducey, and Ainsley Earhart are all pretty much in agreement. No, don't get involved. Don't do the Twitter. But that's kind of a pointless thing. They can get him to do almost anything just by choosing what stories they focus on. They can actually shift the direction of the federal government, but they do have a limit to their power. And I think that limit comes when you try to get Donald Trump to put down his phone for a little while. They can say he's got things to do, but Donald Trump doesn't care about his responsibilities as president. He's watching TV and he's tweeting. That's what he's going to be doing for the next couple of months. Each of these last 2 days of the big days of the hearing, he's said he's not gonna tune in, he's too busy, and yet he's found time to retweet literally dozens of video clips in each case. So they have tried to help him there. Again, these are allies of the president, but it is gonna be worthless because he can't help himself. Now, in terms of getting involved in a more direct way, actually testifying, which he implied yesterday he'd want to do, I don't buy it at all. But what if he did actually do it? Here is what Chris Wallace had to say.
I would think that would be akin to Prince Andrew testifying about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, which one British critic said was like an airplane crashing into an oil tanker, causing a tsunami that set off a nuclear explosion. It's an entertaining thing, and it certainly got us all talking, but my guess is it's not going to happen, and if it did, it would be a very controversial and perhaps unwise policy by the president.
There's a metaphor for you. And yeah, look, Chris Wallace obviously is less of a fan of Donald Trump than someone like Brian Kilmeade, but he's still very much a conservative, and he's been around long enough to know that it would of course be a disaster for Donald Trump if he were to testify. Him or Rudy Giuliani, those are the two worst examples. I mean, pretty much anyone you put up there is gonna do some damage to the president, but nobody can do as much damage as those two. Donald Trump, you could get him to say that he extorted Ukraine just by implying that it's strong to do so. He'd be like, well then sign me up, I'm strong, I did that. He can't do it. And look, Donald Trump, he's a dumb person in a lot of ways, and he has very little self-awareness. He can't help himself from projecting in any number of different ways, but he does have at least a little bit of self-awareness, and he does seem to understand on some level that he can't trust himself to represent himself, which is why he didn't testify to Robert Mueller. He could have done that, he chose not to because he knew how damaging it would be. And in the same way, I would be shocked if Donald Trump chose to testify because he knows how damning it would be. He knows how much he speaks bombastically or lies or reveals things he doesn't intend to. It would be horribly damaging to his efforts to stop himself from being either impeached or eventually removed from office. And so I don't expect it to happen. But anyway, as we proceed with this impeachment, that's what the conservatives have to say about Donald Trump, and that is really something. Thank you for watching this clip from The Damage Report. For more content from the show and access to TYT Network members only exclusives, go to tyt.com/Brooke. Wait, no, it's tyt.com/John. Go to tyt.com/John to sign up.